Okay, I am back. Huh, that's interesting. Some kind of error message popped up. I don't know what it was. But anyway, I am back to complete this character. And we're going to get started. So let's turn off this layer. Oops. Okay, so we're going to continue with the outfit, and we're going to put on this one. Just take this off of Alpha Lock. Let's hit the reference button, and let's add the light. Actually, let's take reference off. All right, we're gonna add the color. There's a clipping mask. There we go. And let's see, what color should we color this? Let's see. Since I did want red in this palette, I'm gonna choose the highest red. There we go. Looking nice. We're gonna check the drawing or the sketch to see if it is over too much, and if we need to taper it some, fix some of the edges. On my break, I just got finished watching Napoleon on Apple TV, and it was decent. It was a decent movie. I understand there was some anger with the plot or something of the movie. I think maybe the anger had something to do with making Napoleon seem less like a tyrant and more like a loyal emperor and lover. I don't know the complete history of Napoleon Bonaparte other than the fact that the man conquered quite a few areas. He had a tight military strategy, and he was extremely conceited, much like an Alexander the Great. It seemed like the movie was based more towards the letters that he wrote to his Empress Josephine. It's definitely a strong point in the film. And I don't know, he seemed to have an undying affection for her, even though he was pretty narcissistic according to history. But I heard that the French people were pretty mad about that movie. They didn't think it was a great film. And I'm pretty sure most of it had to do with the fact that the actor was not French. The main actor was not French. And I'm not even sure if the main actress was French either. There's a lot of Americans and a lot of Europeans playing that role that were not Frenchmen. And so I guess that could have been some of the outrage. And you know, we live in this kind of era now where cultures want to be represented by the people that live in their cultures, and they want equal representation of of you know, actors, actresses, and stuff like that. They don't want, you know, the same type of stuff to just keep going to the same American actors, and that's understandable. So this is gonna be real quick here, and then we're gonna move on to the body. Sorry, I didn't want to close that. I want to lock this though. Unlock this one, and lock this, and lock this. So the movie was directed by Ridley Scott, and undo that. And Ridley Scott, he doesn't seem to be the kind of guy who apologizes for his choices when he makes art. He seems to be the kind of person that's like, you know, if you don't like it, don't see it. You know, it is what it is. I'm an American, and I'm making an American film, and you know, if you don't like it, you don't like it. Que sera, 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 you know. If you want to, you know, it to be a French film, then you'll have a Frenchman make it. If you want it to be a black film, you'll have a black man make it. You know, I guess that's the kind of position he's taken as a director. It's my guess. I do not speak for the man. I don't know what he thinks, but it just seems like he's kind of like the non-caring guy. He's like, hey, you know, it's a film. If you don't like it, you know, don't watch it. But I do have to say that it should be noted that if you can get foreign actors to play roles involving their heritage, because you're trying to make a movie based on a reality, or a reality that happened, that it's probably best to do that. I believe I said this earlier in another stream, that the whole reason Akira isn't a movie is because the Hughes brothers, when they had control of the movie, they wanted to get Japanese actors to play the roles, and the studio turned him down, told him that wasn't a good idea. And then, now we have Shang-Chi, where, you know, Asian actors, from the respectable continent played the role of the characters. And so now it just kind of looks like they made a stupid decision. They should have listened to what the brothers wanted. Of course, this was after the Book of Eli, when these rumors kind of swirled around that that's what was going on with Akira. But, sometimes if you're making a movie about, from a culture of a group of people, it's very honorable to include the people in that movie, in that piece of entertainment. You don't have to do it because you feel, these people, they throw this term around, woke or whatever, but you don't have to do it because of that. You're just doing it because it's honorable. It's an honorable thing to include the people you're making the movie about in the script, in the actual movie. But nonetheless, the movie was not terrible. In my standards, the movie was not terrible. I just feel kind of like it was trying to shed a different kind of light on Napoleon that history has not been very kind to Napoleon at all in his conquests. I'd imagine if they tried to make a movie about Genghis Khan or some other conquerors, that they would probably also it'd also be kind of contested. There'd be some contesting as to whether we're telling a story about this person's life or whether we're trying to make a person look better than what they are. Or what history has written about them. I would just say that the movie, in my opinion, did not make Napoleon seem like a likable person. So I think that that's why I would say that the movie was decent, because it just made him look like what he was. He was an ambitious, arrogant person who, came up at the time of France's disillusionment with its own monarchy system, and he promised to fix those wrongs. And then once he fixed those wrongs, then he and his brother hatched a plan to completely take France over and become emperor of liberation. And he truly believed that he marched into an area and he fought a war, that he was liberating that group of people from their tyranny. He believed it. It was almost a religious belief. Which it's quite eye-opening to see. If that part of him is true, it's just quite eye-opening to see that that's how he felt. He felt like he was one of the greatest people to ever live since This is Alexander the Great and a couple of other great conquerors. Fortunately for us, in our universe right now, we don't have a megalomaniac like that living. We have people who think a little bit clearly. They do understand that there's lots of nuclear weapons out there, and countries willing to justify the use of them if they need to. And so they're not stepping over the line too much. But, you never know what type of history you're gonna find yourself in. All right. Let's step this up a little bit more here. Oh boy, looks like we have a robot. So I just deleted it, banned it. And didn't speak that language, and so it feels like don't speak the language, you don't need to be on there. Figures it's gonna happen eventually, you know. I should probably change my chat to followers chat only. I don't think it is on that. So eventually, I guess I can go in and change that. I'll probably just do it right now. Okay, it's not there. Yeah, I don't need that silliness. Let me check. I think I can see this person's. I think I can see this person's. Says his account was created in March. Sent 2 messages. Blip, clap, clap, diff server. Is this person a person? Let's check his profile. I don't know who this person is. See, he's got 16 followers. There's no, see, about. It's got nothing in his about space. Nothing. I'm okay with followers, following the stream. And I'm okay with them chatting, but I don't know what you're saying, and if I don't know what you're saying, then you just kind of come across as a bot. And the thing is, this guy has no followers, so I don't know who he is. And it said something about a server, and I'm not willing to go to Google Translate to figure out what it was that he wanted. I should have started out with this color and then stepped it up. That's what I should have did. I could probably still do that. Let's do that. There we go. And then step it back. Because I feel like I'm working backwards here. See, so started with this one. So maybe I should start with this one and then work it up. So from here to here, and then work it backwards just a bit. Get the shape in there. I'm gonna erase that. Just start up with the neck. The neck is gonna be the darkest area, I think, because the head holds the shade. Try to get this done as quickly as I possibly can. Yeah, I hate to ban people, but if I don't speak your language, I don't know what you're talking about, and you ask about a server, it just seems like a bot. If you're asking for a Discord server, I don't have one. I don't know how to get that to work, so I don't have one. I mean, I have one, but it's not connected to this. And I've been thinking about getting rid of it anyway because I don't know how to work it. I just use it to put a bunch of pictures in it for references for drawing pictures later. So I'm sorry, sir, but I might unban you later, but right now I don't know, you don't seem to have anything in your account. You do have a avatar, but it could be anything. It could be a foreign agent for all I know. If I personally go to a foreigner's account, go to a foreigner's Twitch account and I don't speak their language and I can, but I like what I see, I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to come across as like, oh, I don't know, they don't know what I'm saying because I could be saying anything. And so I myself, following my own rule of etiquette, I wouldn't do it. I would stay silent and I'd just be like, I just watch what they're doing. And I have been to a couple of foreign accounts here because it seems like foreigners are more on the artistic side of things than Americans and Europeans and stuff that speak more of the English language, and they seem to use this more so for other things other than jokes and games. And so sometimes I'll watch. And I also do know that there's a lot of foreigners that do follow my Facebook page. And like I say, I don't know why they're there. I mean, I'm an American, and it's clearly in the language that I am. And I don't know, if you're there for what reasons, but I do welcome you. Thanks for following me, but I don't know what you're saying. I mean, you could be trying to write code to take over my account. I don't know. I'm just, I'm speaking English literally on my account. I'm speaking so you can hear me, so automatically I do not speak a different language. So it's not like hiding in plain sight or anything. Okay, we're going to step it back a little bit more, make it darker. All right, so I'm just adding some in here. I have so many weird, it's like my following count. Like if I took all my followers and I just took every single account, social media account that I have that I tie to what I'm doing, Twitch, Facebook, and all that, I probably would come up with it like at least 50,000 followers. It'd probably be something close to that. I never tried to do that, but I if the followers don't engage, then I consider them pretty much dead. If they engage as a robot, I don't consider them real. So I don't know how many real followers I actually have. You know, I would imagine that I don't have too many people who are following this account who are who have any interest, because I have not really like done things like go on the road and give seminars and teach lessons, and haven't built a real group of people. So I don't know if I even really have anybody who's like a real follower. So I use Twitch basically for the purposes of recording. Twitch is just a recording studio to me. Which is why I think I have this basically identified as the CartoonistLewd's recording art studio or something like that. Because that's what this is. This is just to record. So I can log my drawings. I really don't expect to be talking to anybody, just mostly just me, myself, which is, I guess it's kind of morbid, but I really don't expect anybody to be popping in here and say, hey, and anything like that. If someone does, I'll talk to them, but I don't expect it. There's a lot of background noise going on, so I might close my door. All right. That's looking pretty good. Soften up some of the edges just a little bit. Tone that down some to about a 5. Oh, I'm on the wrong layer. Let's go to, there we go. Soften some of these shadow shapes down just a little bit on the edges. There you go. So something important to remember about most A-list directors is that they're always chasing the white rabbit, and so they want to do movies that they feel like is going to cement a history. And so sometimes they will just pick a story. Someone wrote a script, and they're just like, hey, I want to do that script because I think it'll make a good story, and it'll probably get me an Oscar nod. So they take on the role, and they take on the challenge. And so I feel like that's why the Napoleon story was told, because it's, many years later. I mean, you could tell that story. You could have told that story at any time, but it's like, who wants to tell that? It's kind of like the Genghis Khan thing or the Hannibal story, the story of Hannibal. Which was a conqueror that wanted to invade Rome. Rome. I'm sorry. That's right, Rome. And he tried to do it with a small group of men, and they met their end. There's actors out there that want to play him, but the question is, does that make a good story? Is it a good story to tell? And sometimes it's just ego and bravado. It's like, oh, I get to play some guy. Would we ever make a story about Genghis Khan? Probably not. Would we ever make a story about the Crusades? Most definitely not. Because certain types of stories, when you tell them, you have a bias, a Regency bias, and you don't get to tell both sides of the story. And so because of that, it's very hard to tell stories about controversial people like Napoleon Bonaparte and Hannibal and Genghis Khan, and even it's even really hard to tell a story about, say, a conqueror like Alexander the Great. It's just not easy to tell those kinds of stories because of the historical problems that those guys created. All right, we're going to drop this to 85%, see what that looks like. That looks all right. And then we're going to drop the other one to 85% too. All right, that looks all right. I think that's good enough for her. And we're going to lock this outfit now. So we're locking it. So everything in that outfit, all the outfit pieces have been locked. And so now we're just going to start taking them off. And we're going to color the skin. And the character has been completely censored, so there will be no seeing of anything that should not be seen. All right, now what I want to do is I want to start with the eyes and the hair. And so her eyes are going to be normal, so we're just going to go with white for the eyes. So usually I like a light blue. And we're going to make sure we got the right tools for the job. Open layer. character. We're going to go down to the color. I'm going to keep the drawing long enough to do all the coloring, and then we're going to disappear the drawing. We're going to drop it once it's done because we won't need it anymore. And this part usually takes pretty long time. I'm going to put reference on so that I can quickly color things in. I'm just going to try to move. I'm going to try to move a little bit quick. I'm going to try to move this one along quickly. Quicker than I have before. And so hopefully I have censored enough so that I won't get any weird content strikes or anything like that. Okay, I think I want her eyes to be like a pink. So we're going to go with this pink. Honestly, I believe like figure drawing at a certain level should be acceptable. That's the way I feel about it, because I am a pure artist. Now, if I'm doing something sensual, like, you know, sexual positions or stuff like that, then of course I should keep that. I'd keep that off of the server, because I don't want it on these servers. There's no audience for it anyway. But out of respect, I understand the rules, and so I'm just going to follow. Because I like to keep my account, if that would be helpful. Okay, still a little bit of edging right here. All right, now we get into the hair and the skin color, and this is kind of where I want to kind of use her name as a part of herself. So Goldenberry is her name. And so I really would like to do a golden color for her. Skin should be quite awkward. But nobody ever said anything about the Hulk's green skin. So, you know, this is actually, well, let me see, this color right here is probably the closest to gold, these two colors here, in the desaturation. So I'm just going to lay this color down right quick to see what it looks like. But then her hair, she's supposed to be berry, so her hair is going to be a different kind of color. So I'm just going to lay this color on the edge like that, just for a little bit, just to kind of get it so that I have it. And then I want her hair to be a color. And let's see. Let's try a darkish reddish color. Well, you know what? Let me think. Let me think for a second. We could stick with the whole berry thing and do a purplish color, but her outfit is purple. So we do a darkish reddish color, that still would stick with the berry theme, I guess. Wouldn't make her a redhead, but and the other thing is dark colors. We could shade them up instead of. We can tint them up instead of shading them down. So that's the cool thing about a darker color. Who knows? This might not be the right red. I don't know, if I tint this red up, it'll probably look pretty decent. Okay, so this eye breaks through the shape of the hair. So that means I'm going to do some weird stuff here. Might even just be beneficial for me to just go straight over the eye. Not even worry about that. I'm really close to the screen, so probably should put my glasses on. There we go. Sorry, I'm rotating a little too much. Sketch it out as good as I can. All right, drop it in. Ooh, not good. What did I miss? I missed this area right here. There we go. Now I can probably drop it in and it will stay. There we go. Fix the corners so I don't have to come back. Fix that corner, fix this one. And then drop it here. Fix this corner here. Sometimes if it's like close to the edge of the hair, where you get kind of acute angles. Um, that's going to be solved with the outline, so I don't have to do much to that. So one little shape, kind of a sideburn. I'm gonna fill that in. Okay. And there goes the hair. So now we got the hair all figured out. We're gonna do the back kind of ponytailish part here. Let's get a little angle on that. Switch my body here. I think the problem I kind of have with comment sections and open engagement and stuff like that, you know, as an American, is that it leaves you vulnerable to anybody. When you think of like an actor or an actress or, you know, somebody important, they don't have open engagement. Their engagement is controlled, and they have agencies who, you know, you're good to leave a comment. You're good to talk to. You're not, okay. And although I enjoy like randomness, I just kind of feel like security is just not built in to the front of these programs that we've been using for some time. And that's a problem. Like, you know, we should be allowed to vet our crowd, anybody who comes in, because you don't want people in there who's just going to be dissident and just going to be obnoxious. You know, just going to leave, you know, spam all over your stuff. You don't want that. So I just kind of feel like that part of social media is missing or lacking ability. You know, someone wanted to build another social media network. They should think about that. You know, who do you allow in? You know, how public do you want to be? Because, you know, even when you're talking about like a concert, like somebody having a concert, a music concert or something, there's still a vetting process as to who gets into the door. A person with a ticket who has, you know, access to paying for that concert gets into the door, okay? And nobody's asking you, well, you know, are you rich? You know, they just, you want access, you pay the ticket and you get in the door. You know what I'm saying? And the thing about social media is they don't have that. They want the creators to pay the ticket price. And that's, you know, I don't know if that's cool to do, because I'm pretty sure there's a fee, but, you know, at the end of the day, you're going to see the comedian, you're going to see the entertainer. You pay for that ticket price. The ticket price pays for the security, pays for the ability to hold the place in the venue it's holding, pays the performer. And make sure, if there's any accidents and any problems that it could kind of be made whole. People can be kind of made whole. And you just don't got that with social media and with stuff like Twitch and stuff. You're just open. You're just an open thing to any person who wants to come in and do something disruptive, That's not cool. So yeah, I think social media kind of lacks those protections. To a certain degree. Even if, someone's a nobody, and they're just starting out, they still get afforded protection. It's not it's not too much to ask for. Even if they brought no money into the venue, and they're just starting out. And that's what social media is like. It's just kind of like, oh, you can be a star, but you got to pay us first. I speak on this because, for instance, some odd reason, I was offered a professional account on Facebook. I've been running groups there for a while, got a professional account, and I feel like I was offered this account because they think I'm making some kind of money off of them. And so they're like, well, if you want to go the full Monty, get this professional account, and then you can become an account that people can subscribe to, and then you make the real money. But I looked at their subscription service, and for me to be making nothing off of them, and then for them to be charging astronomical prices to subscribe to them just to get small boosts and things, it doesn't feel right. Yeah, I could do advertisement, but I still gotta pass their quality seal of approval. So you don't get ahead of the line for paying for that, for a subscription service. Still gotta pay for boosting posts. You don't get you got a subscription, so we're gonna allow you to boost 5 posts per year or something like that, for free, So it's just why am I subscribing? Why would I pay you, $3,000-$4,000 when I'm not a major corporation like AT&T or something? I'm just some guy in a garage. I don't get any preferential treatment or nothing. So it's not a reason for me to have to want to pay that amount of money to get a subscription, to just get a blue check mark to say I am subscribed to Facebook. I'm a subscription service, And I even find that it's kind of a letdown even on X, because same thing, Yeah, you get a blue check mark, but so what? It doesn't make you any more or less. Doesn't make you richer. It gives you access to opening different things, but now you're paying for that because now I run a group, so now I got to pay for running the group. The group doesn't pay for itself. It says, yeah, I could charge people, but what are they going to pay to see me draw? Probably not a lot, because there's a lot of people that can draw. Some people probably can draw better than me, so nobody's going to pay me to see that. So, you know, I like it, but I like the idea, but Facebook even was saying, well, you know, we'll secure your account, and, you know, if you come across any imposters, we will, you know, for payment, we will take care of them. And I'm like, you know, maybe you should take care of those people for free. But I digress. You know, I don't have a business degree, so, and I am just a guy just drawing on a streaming service, and I really don't have any business sense. So, you know, I'm probably one of the last Gen Xers that doesn't really have a business sense. Didn't have a father to teach me any business sense, because my father didn't have any business sense either. My mother didn't have business sense, so she's working class B. Father was working class B, and it made me a working class B. And you know, that's what happens with you. You just, you're working class, and it's very hard to figure out businesses because I didn't go to school for it, and I just don't know how it runs. I'm a one-trick pony. I got this trick. This is the trick. All right. I am going as fast as I humanly possibly can, which is quite weird. But I guess, you know, you can only speed this process up so much. All right. Let's see if I've put enough in here to this is going to be real hard to see the mistakes because the color is quite close to the background color of the character. So I'm going to have to go in real good and see if I have any spots of interest. I got a little bit one right here in the ear. Make it a little spikier. Right? So now you can see she's got like this golden skin. It's kind of cool. Right, now we're going to start outlining the neck area. So it's telling a person that gold is actually an ugly color. It's an earth tone, a very ugly color. The only reason we like it is because you can shine it up and make it shiny, and it looks it looks cool when it's shiny. And if there's anything about human behavior that you should learn, is that we like shiny things, and we ascribe value to them. You know, no creature on the face of this earth will kill another creature over a shiny rock, but humans will. You know, does an ant realize that it's traveling on a piece of gold? If it's traveling on a piece of gold, I'm pretty sure it doesn't. Is it gonna tell its other fellow ant, hey, you know what? I found this gold over here and it's gonna make me rich? No, it does not. Doesn't care less. It could care less. Sometimes I feel like, you know, having gold is better than having food, because at least you can feed yourself by using the gold to acquire riches to eventually feed yourself and clothe yourself. I mean, could you imagine, like, if we never had to wear clothes, exactly how much money we would save? Of course, there'd probably be other problems like, you know, sun and all that stuff, but just imagine. All right. Just being a crazy old artist man again, asking stupid questions, saying stupid stuff. All right, we're gonna fill in the neck, check the spots, make sure not missing anything didn't get colored in because of the narrowness. Okay, and then we're just going to continue down the shoulder. So as tightly as we possibly can. I could probably work in bigger shapes and then make them smaller and skinnier, and that would make it go quicker. Let's go back and tighten up the areas that need to be tightened. Like that, see? And then go back and tighten up around it. All right. And a little bit quicker. There we go. Let's fill in this shape. Guess it's the same difference, so it doesn't really matter. Okay. Got rid of all the streakiness. So we are in the breast area now. And we're almost finished up with this area. So when I censorship, I try to follow the rules of the cosplayers, and that is that the Japanese cosplayers have found a really cool way of censoring by just covering the very spot that needs to be covered and not everything. So they get away with showing just a little bit more skin by covering the very spot that needs to be covered. So that's the philosophy that I have adopted in my stream, is to do that. There we go. And then, of course, if you want to see the uncensored, where I color it without the dot over it, you can just join my Facebook and my YouTube, where they seem to have been a little bit more laxed on artistic nudity. They still don't like sexuality nudity, so if you're drawing genitalia, you don't have a market for that yet, so still not allowed. If you're drawing people touching themselves and stuff like that, it's not allowed. Human sexuality is forbidden in the world, so. When the Anglo-Saxons conquered the world, the first thing they did is they forbid any type of sensuality or sexuality. They struck it out. And then they said that the reason why they forbid it is because it was only to be, for people who were of God, and everybody else couldn't have it. So it became forbidden. Right, so there we go. But I'm not serious on that. There's other reasons why it's forbidden. Smaller reasons. All right, so now we're working into the hand area here, and got the hand going. get that. Like I said, we're moving along at a good clip here. Which is a good sign. So she almost kind of has claws. She's not a monster, but she does have claws. More so than manicured fingers. There we go. So I'm going to complete this hand here, and then we can color it all the way in. I would, going kind of back to the Napoleon movie, I would hate the fact that an actor that has been told to take a role and be a character that they know they can play would turn that role down simply because they would fear the fact that they're not the nationality of the person. You know, there's something to be said about like playing a person that is not your skin color, and you know, having a black face kind of mentality and acting, you know, and just, you know, making fun of a culture or a race based on that type of thing. But if that's not why you're playing the role, you know, it's to bring honor, then I can understand why you wouldn't say, well, you know, I'm not French, so no, I don't want to play that role because I'm not French. And people who are French or Spanish or English will have something to say about it. So I do understand that. You know, if you know, I am not the color of the person, I could see more of a reason for the outrage on that, but I guess that's because I myself am African American, so I could definitely understand, like, you put somebody in blackface and you make them play Martin Luther King, it's not cool, you know. So there's something to be said about that. And, you know, Hollywood's got to be, the directors and the producers and stuff, they got to be a little bit more cognizant of, you know, if we're going to make a movie about Native American, you know, we need to have Native Americans in it. Not people who dress as Native Americans. We're going to make a movie about, you know, Islamic cultures. We need to have Islamic people in it. If we're going to make a movie about Jewish people, we need to have Jewish people acting in those roles, you know. I feel like that does need to be thought about so that we can keep people happy, because it's at the end of the day, you want to sell the maximum amount of tickets and things so people will see the movie and feel like they've watched something that was authentic and not something that was just made up in a Hollywood studio. And to say, you know, the Napoleon movie was a decent film. You know, Ridley Scott has done better. You know, it's not his best film. has done better. But it did feel like a film that he wanted to make. Didn't feel like it was a cash grab. So I have to give him that. All right, let's keep going here. Almost. Let's try to cover up as many holes and things that I can. I am starting to learn to be a little bit more raggedy with my my line work, because you can always always clean it up in the end with the way I color. So I'm really not too concerned about edges too much. You'll see in the coming future postings that most of my line work is very sketchy and blueprint-like, and that I do not cover up the mistakes, because I can cover them up later when I do the coloring work. But if there's one thing I did learn from the Napoleon movie, though, it was the way the British fought and how that led to their defeat when fighting America. You know, the way Napoleon fought is he fought in a line, and he strategically placed his troops. In the movie, he cites geometry as the way he could place his men to fight on the battlefield. And basically, geometry is a set thing. And America fought the British in an asymmetrical style. So geometry was not a factor in American battle against Britain. And so because Britain tried to use those geometric battle styles that Napoleon used, they just couldn't gain ground against America, because when you're being hit every day, it's not easy to continue to defend your area. Let's back that up for a second. Yeah, that's what I thought. Forgot to close the shape. So that was a very, the battle were pretty informative and interesting to see, how intricate that was, how he would think of, is it windy, who has the higher ground, who's where the enemy going to be coming from, which direction, and how do we set ourselves up to ambush them, and all that stuff. No one was thinking that. Even when they showed, his defeat by the Russian winter, the Russians didn't meet him on the battlefield. They deserted their city, and then they burnt it. So I guess, to kind of send a message that, we won't be conquered by you. because I guess they knew they were not going to be able to fight a skirmish. They probably could have fought him, because when he got there, he had lost 3/4 of his men, marching to Russia. It's a costly mistake. I don't know if in the story, one of his generals says to him, hey, maybe we should, wait it out in Poland for a little bit and then come back. I don't know if that part was true or if it was embellished, but I was thinking the entire story. I was like, you should probably take that general's decision. Russia is a pretty hard place in the winter. It's not good. Even the Russians know that. So they know that part of Europe is pretty brutal. So you don't even fight. Even with the advancement of technology, they still know, hey, winter comes, you got hungry, tired, cold men, it's not going to work. Probably couldn't even get machines to do it properly. That's how cold it gets. All right, we're moving along at a good clip here. So we'll probably be done pretty soon with the coloring. Then we can punch up the shadow and light. We can punch up the line work. And then we can start getting that shadow and light in there. And then that'll probably be the stream after all of that. I have another character with golden skin, but I haven't named her yet, so I haven't drawn her yet either. She would be a recreation. Drop the color in there, fix up the... So, anybody tuning in to this stream, I did the first stream, I did the clothing, and so this stream, I'm just doing the skin work. And once I'm done completely in this stream, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to title the streams Part 1 and Part 2, and then I'm going to pull the stream work off of Twitch and get it ready for YouTube, and then I'll post the streams also to Facebook. And I have cover art, so you can see the finished design from the cover art. And then I'll get the art actually ready for my my website. And eventually I'm going to have to do a website release where I'm going to have to push the artwork from the website out to the world. I have been right now just I've been trying to get better at doing products, so right now I'm pushing it out through my web stores, my print web stores. And then later I probably am going to start pushing it through the website. The website will probably be like the third leg of advertisement. So the first leg is the streaming. Second leg is the print shops, and then the third leg is my actual website. All right. Let's close up some of these shapes so we can get to the other side of the leg. It's so funny because when I first started using this Procreate, I'm a traditional artist, and so I was using it like a pencil and paper, and I was thinking, oh, okay, so this is the pencil tool, and this paper has texture, and this and all of that, and I wasn't thinking like the way I'm thinking now, which is like, oh, the texture, that's not the paper, that's the device you're using, that's the brush. I wasn't thinking like I'm thinking now. So it's quite different. You flip your brain. But it still feel, oh, there we go. Still feel like without the traditional background, that I would not be that good with this. It's traditionally, the background gave me some form of understanding. And then, of course, I've used Photoshop before. Wasn't very good, but like if I went to Photoshop now, all I need to learn is like what does what. And if I had a stylus of some sort, I could probably just draw directly into Photoshop. In the past, what I would do is I would draw outside of Photoshop and scan it into Photoshop, and then do all the work from there. And now I don't have to even do that. I can just draw it as like I'm using a pencil. I could just draw what I imagine. That's what I like about this program. That I can just draw as I imagine it. Soon as Apple said, we're making a pencil for our iPad, first thing I thought was, man, it'd be great if they had a drawing program. And then got one for my birthday. And for a while I didn't use it too much, but then I started using it. It's like, I'm going to teach myself how to do this. And then I just started teaching myself how to do it. And then, bring that back. Before I knew it, I was pretty good at it. All right. What a weird color scheme. You know what? I think because her scarf was red, I'm going to do her hair piece red too. unify her scarf with her hair tie piece here. Kind of give your eyes something to look at from a balanced perspective. Okay, so now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take the silhouette, I'm going to punch it all the way up to 100%, so now it's completely dark. Then I can take the drawing off, and now we can start working with the silhouette. Let's do the reference on this. Well, let's not do the reference yet. Let's take the shade and clip mask and clip mask. And hope that it didn't disappear the censorship. I would have been in trouble if it had done that. And we're going to keep the censorship up, of course. And now what we're going to do is we are going to add the shade, so black. Normally I would just use the brown for that, but I'm going to use black because it works so well with the other one. Drop that in so the whole layer is black, and then with the tone, drop that in so the whole layer is toned up. The thing about using black is if you decide later you want to change the color, you could just change the color of the entire layer, and it will change the color of the shading, and so it will make it different. And that you know, if you want to make it warm, you just change it to a warm color, and if you want to make it cool, you just change it to a cool color. And you know, you can even paint where you want the warm color and the cool color to be, and you know, change it like that. So there's all kinds of tricks that you can do. All right, so now we are going to reference the silhouette. There we go. And for the layer, mask for the shade, do the same thing we did the last time. We are going to use this color. We're going to shade it up. And then we are going to use the black, and we're going to start to lift out the highlights, the highlighted areas. So now I can see where my color layer, let's go to classic, where I can see where I left holes in the color layer. So let's do that first. Let's fix all of that, where the edges just kind of didn't get colored in. The pixels just kind of scan around, make sure that we don't have any loose pixels going around here. All right, there we go. So that's good enough. Let's make her. Now we're going to go to shade. I'm going to lock it. And now we're going to lift out the highlights best as we possibly can. And once again, we're just going to start with the hardest pen type, and then we'll, you know, smooth it out from there. I did rather like doing the emoji censorship. I like doing it over this one, the way I did the censorship on this. So I think I'll think about it next time. The emoji one is just fun looking. Remember, nothing has to be completely absolute, because you can always go back later and you can transform it just a little bit to suit your needs. I don't think there's going to be any light right there, so I'm going to take it away. Okay. Let's get the face in here. There we go. A little bit around the eye. A little bit there, a little bit here. I'm going to have to go back and paint the tear ducts, because I noticed that I forgot to do that. And I'll do that a little bit. I'll do that later. It's no big deal right now. It's just one little splash of color. Alright. Put some light on this arm here. And just remember, this is the absolute color. Actually, the pure color. And the shaded part, because we shaded it slightly darker, that is the actual color. So it's the actual color of the character. And then this is the this is the pure color. And I know it sounds confusing. It sounds confusing when I deliver it in my head, but pure color is the spectrum color, the actual color of something. And then the actual color is the shaded color, one shade below the pure color. Because when you see something, we have just enough shade on our body because of all of the elements and things around us, because of the darkness of space and stuff, that what we're seeing is we're not seeing the pureness of the color. because the sun is yellow. The sun is not blue. If the sun was blue, we would be seeing, the color would be spectacular. And, we probably wouldn't be able to survive unless we were built better. But we would see color for what it truly would be, because the light of the sun would be so pure. And when we're looking at color, we see it with a slight shade. And so that shade makes that color the color we're seeing, the actual color. And then the pure color is the color that is where the light is hitting it to show us the pure color. No shadow. And then you tint up the color. There goes a hole right there. You tint it up. So that it looks like the light is hitting the color spectacular. It's hitting it, making that color lighter than what it actually is. That's my theory. That's just the way I see it. So even though this is looking light, like I'm, painting back into a lighter color, what I'm actually doing is I'm just painting the actual color back to its pure color, taking the shade away from the color itself. The one layer of shade that shades the color down to its actual color. And I will say that, the Renaissance time period and the Impressionists are the reasons why we come up with this, why we have this type of ability. Because the Impressionists, they looked at color and they said, well, there's no black. So what we do is we take the color and we use its tone. And what they would do is they say, okay, so if you have yellow, you mix the yellow with purple, and the tone of that color would be at its darkest tone, and then you would paint the shadow that color. And then you would make a struggle between the purple and the yellow, and that would give you your spectacular light. And that's how they paint it. That's why their paintings look so brilliant, because of that. Why their colors look so absolute, so popped, because they realize if you put two colors next to each other, one of the colors are going to complement each other, or rather we should say they used the wrong word. They should just use fight. but they will complement each other, and they will bring out the best of of uh, of the color. But if you mix them together, they don't like each other, and they will bring out the worst in each other, which is some muddy, ugly color. And so to balance it, you make sure that you use their pure colors right next to those colors. Well, in my world, I'm saying black exists, and it's the shadow. But because I'm using a computer, I can then say, well, this black, I'm going to change it to another color, and it will become a dark red. And now it's no longer black, it's just dark red color. And that dark red color will become the shade color. And then I could say the light is green, light green, the lightest green I can find. And then I have the complements fighting each other. And that would fix that problem right there. So, in the world of digital art, you can transform things. You don't have to stay stuck to a rule. Whereas the Impressionists, they were painting by hand, so they had to pretty much stay stuck to their rules. The experimenting only, came at a cost that they might make a picture completely ugly. Whereas with the digital, you can back yourself out of the corner if it doesn't work out. There's an anime came out, it's called Chainsaw Man or something like that. And I noticed that the animators, for their shadow, they have like this really white style, almost a pale reddish peach that they color their character. One of their, at least one or two of their female characters, and then they have this shade, and the shade is a reddish color. It makes that skin look it just washes it up so much, almost unrealistically. And it gives such a pleasant look to it that you can't do anything but just love what you're looking at, because it's so brilliant. But they achieve that by knowing how the colors work. They know that a light red on top of a dark red will pop it out. They know that it makes the character feel like it's warm and it's alive. And they know that, so they do that. A lot of people might not realize that, hey, that's probably why you like that anime. It might be well animated, but the colors are messing with your mind on a psychological level that you're not thinking on, that they thought about. And so, the competition will move in and they will say, oh, well, we got to do it too. And they just start copying what's in front of them. But you can achieve different things by just experimenting with different ways of doing something. I did this painting. It was called CartoonistLewd's. And at first, she was going to be in kind of like this forest-looking place. And it was coming along really well. It was taking me forever because I was using techniques that were very illustrative. And I stopped in the middle and I said, I don't know if I want this to represent the kind of stuff I want to do. Because it's very illustrative and it looked really good. And I could have released it. I could have just finished it up and released it, but it just didn't feel like something I wanted to do at the time. But I did learn a lot from the style of choices I was making. And so I said to myself, okay, well, what did I learn from this unreleased piece of artwork I'm about to destroy? And I learned that I can use textures. I learned that I could use certain brushes to soften the edges. I learned how I could use textures to work to my advantage. And I learned some color choices that I could make. And so I destroyed that piece of artwork, but the lessons that I learned from it were valuable. And then I just redid her. And I think the results of the remake was better than the one I was going to release from the original. And I do have this. I have this when I was working. When I was working traditional, I had developed this kind of pattern that was akin to Vincent van Gogh and his spirals of madness. And I did have this unique look to my art, and all of it had this unique patterns, but it took me forever to do these pictures, and it was painstaking in trying to figure out how I could make different types of spirals go different types of ways. And I can do that digital with the materials I'm afforded, the brushes I'm afforded. I can do that from a digital standpoint. But my pictures, it would take me hours to finish them. Days, months. It'd take me months to finish them. And I have a tolerance for taking that long to finish a picture. I do. I just don't know if I have an audience that will tolerate watching me do that for that long. So I do like to fancy myself as I'm not, I don't have an audience, but I might. I might have somebody who's watching everything I'm doing and saying, wow, that's really cool. I'm going to try and copy it and make it into my own thing, and then I'm going to release my own artwork. That would be cool, complimentary, but I'm not sure. But if I do, I just don't think that they would sit there and watch me do these maddening spirals for hours and hours till I got this piece of artwork that I achieved that looks really good, but took me, a month to create. I guess I don't think people get bored quicker. I hope I was wrong. I'm wrong on that, but I think people get bored real quick. Quicker than they used to. And so I decided not to do that. I can do it for some things, but I shouldn't do it for all things. Which is what I was doing with my style. I was doing the spiral thing was all the way through. Most of the work. And it made little sense because from a surface standpoint, it stood out, but from a style standpoint, it just looked like it wasn't needed. It was unnecessary. And what's so funny is I found out there's this manga artist that did these he basically made a story about it, and he did these maddening spirals, and it was about these spirals taking over a village. And the manga ended up with saying that these spirals had been there before, and that nobody noticed them because they were so much of an integral part of the village. Integral part of the ecosystem of the village, and that every once in a while, maybe hundreds of years, when they're forgotten, somebody remembers them and brings back the curse of the village. It was an anime. I don't know if that was how the manga went, but the anime did go like that. And a lot of people didn't appreciate that anime, the way it was animated. I guess they didn't do that great of a job or something. I don't know. But the story was intriguing. I thought the story was pretty interesting. It sounds like it's raining. It was supposed to rain today where I live. Sounds like it is. All right, not bad for quickness. Very good, pretty good. I'm gonna have to put some light shapes on the face once I finish this area right here. Looks good. Not too bad, not too shabby, but could be a little bit better. I'm gonna put some shadow by the hand, because the hand has to be affected by what's going on here. This arm's probably going to be mostly in shadow. So, although I do like to do the stream where I do all of the work and you can see the entire work on the stream, kind of like a journal, I realize I probably don't have to do that. I could probably, get away with doing just a good amount, just enough to where you get to a state of completion, and then all of the cleanup and the extra stuff can come later. But I'm a perfectionist. So I realize that, that's kind of a madness, and so I have to think about these things when I'm doing stuff. This would probably be a little bit more like that. There's kind of a bone there. So you just kind of got to imagine the shape of the bone. If you can see it through the... I'm a very skinny man myself, so I have to imagine it. How it would look. And then most of this is probably going to be in shadow because it's underneath the leg and light's not hitting this area. Okay. Get away with making this elbow just a little bit more rounded. Oops, too black. Let's go back one. There we go. Just a little bit like that. Need too much intriguiness there, and then we could just probably knock this light shape completely out. Go. Let's go back, add a little bit more of a shadow shape into the shoulder here. Shoulders are very weird because they are like rounded, and so light's going to affect it just slightly differently depending upon which angle you're getting hit. So to be real careful about that. The other thing is that this little bone in your collar area, it's kind of rounded too, slightly at the edge, and so light also hits that in a weird kind of a way. So you got to be kind of cognizant of that. It's like you don't want to overdo it and you don't want to underdo it at the same time. push this back just a little bit. Can I get some shaping in there? Let's push this back. Ooh. Undo. Okay, so we're going to go from here to here. So now all I'm doing is I'm just kind of shaping up these little shapes just a little bit more. The edge, sometimes you can get away with not putting too much light in the edge, and sometimes you cannot. Because if you remember what I was saying about light earlier and Vermeers, when we see light out of our eyes, it is not circular. That is just a technique that was picked up by seeing light through a lens, because lenses are circular and tends to turn that light into a circular looking shape. Because it's a lens and it's man-made, we can't really tell if light really looks like that for real. Because, of course, you know, our filter is only human. But that's the way the machine sees the light. And it looks good, looks really cool to us. And so you kind of move more towards the cool looking aspect than the realistic aspect. Which is okay, because that's what artists are supposed to do. It's supposed to make things look better than they actually are sometimes. So all I'm doing now, like I said, is I'm just kind of fixing some of these shapes a little bit more. Kind of making some things a little bit more definite. And knocking some things back. Let's bring this all the way up and then knock the shadow back into it after I'm done with that. This is probably going to travel all the way up like there, and then all the way up like there. We're probably not going to get a broken kind of a shadowy shape. Just let it travel from the edge. There we go. Too much. I got some shapes in here that need to fix. Little spots. All right, fixed up good enough. Go back to this. Got a small little, it's actually this gray, small little area right in there. I'll bring this edge out just a little bit. I gotta fix the hand because I did not edge the shadow shapes in the hand a little bit more, so it's not too flat. go. Push the shadow here. Just a little bit more. Probably say with some ease that the shadow's also going to be about right in here too. So that means I could probably push this up a little bit more. Who knows, in post-production it might change that. Might not be there, might be slightly lower. We'll see. All right. So the point is that now she's starting to look, she's starting to get where I need her, the way I need her to look. And that's the goal. Get her where I need her to look. That's the goal. Okay? So the hand here is going to have shadow right along the edge. So the shadow is probably going to kind of meet the light just a little bit. The light shape. Like that. There we go. And then this thumb is not resting on anything. It is kind of up. So we don't need to put, the shadow doesn't need to affect it that much. Because it's just kind of up. Alright. We're going to need to put some shadow in the eye. Interesting. Let's go a little bit darker. There we go. And that's because, the eye is an object that is actually being affected as well. And so you have to have that shadow in there. And it makes the eye look realistic, just like everything else, by knowing where the shadow and the light is going to hit. Without that shadow, it's flat, and the flat color is very cartoony. And if you want a pure cartoon, you just use really flat colors and you don't put any shadow in them, and you just leave them as they are. Okay, and then we're going to go into the hair. That's going to probably be the weirdest part. The hair is, we're probably going to end up doing more light shapes in the hair than we are shadow shapes. So it's just a part of that. Okay. So you see how it pops it out? Makes it look Makes the eye look like it's real. Okay, you might have remembered me saying something about needing to do the color for the so we're gonna go ahead and do that real quick. That's too light. Let's do that one. I'm gonna do that real quick. And I don't know, I'm weird because in cartooning you don't really need to put a tear duct. As a matter of fact, most cartoonists don't put tear ducts. They don't even exist. I like doing them though. I've always liked putting tear ducts in there. So from that aspect of being an artist, I'm quite weird in that regard. Okay. So we're just about ending to those shadow shapes. And we're probably going to be ready soon to put in the light shapes. Sorry about that. But we're going to do the hair first before we even, well, let's see. The thing about the hair is that it's actually going to benefit from more light shapes to shadow. So when we get to this road, we will cross it. So I might be slightly wrong about this shape right here. Let me erase it first. And then let me put it back. Thinking maybe the shadow's going to be on that side more. Like this. There we go. So, take, I'm going to step it up one. There we go. Right? And so, you know, refining your shapes is a key part of art. Knowing, you know, how much shape you need is a key part of the design, learning how to design pretty well. Step this up. We're going to bring that all the way up like that. Darken this spot completely. And that's the majority of the time is like spent. Like with a machine, the machine could probably just do it so quick, so effortlessly. Doesn't take it long. Just computes the results and spits it out. But with humans, we see slower, so we have to adjust our thinking just a little bit slower. And I think that's why we can kind of tell the difference between if a human did it or if a machine does it, because you can see like a machine, it's going to be so perfect that it becomes imperfect, whereas a human is going to be so imperfect that it becomes perfect. And I know that doesn't make any sense, but if you think on it, you'll understand exactly what I'm saying. All right, so this is wrong. It's gonna be a shadow shape all the way. Is that? All right, this is basic 101 shading, breast shading, basic 101. If you want the sweat bead right here. Sometimes you get that, people like that extra shape. There we go. I think it's not necessarily realistic all the time. I just kind of think it's like an arrow. Points to where you want people's eye to go. All right. Now, we're going to work on the hair and the hair beret. So, the thing about the hair beret is that it's going to be closest to the top. If there's light coming down from the top, you're going to see a lot of that. The halo effect that most anime artists like to do comes from the fact that the light is shining directly from the top of the head. And so they do this little halo of light effect. Because, sunlight hits your hair. And people love it. So they just keep doing it. Even if it's not completely realistic all the time to do it. It's just that it's very aesthetically pleasing to see. So people, they just keep doing it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's the motto, the saying. Okay, so you can see like I'm stepping it up here. And if you want it to feel like hair, you just leave a little bit of space. It starts to feel a little bit more like hair. That's the cool thing. Remember, just keep your strokes really wide so that you can go back in later with details and fix them out. Make it feel more like the thing that you're trying to create. I have a piece I haven't released yet, which is another dominamating piece, and it took me the longest time to do the hair for that piece because I went back and forth with how much I needed to do, and then eventually I settled on something and I did it, but it took me forever to figure out how it was going to come together. Just a lot of experimenting. There we go. Go too far, so I might have to back some of that up a little bit later. So I could say that the light is about right there. All right, so now we can step it down back into the shadow. So I'm gonna go with the darker areas. This will probably be so dark it'll make it look like the line work. That's what I love about this brush, is that it just has this, it's based off of a triangle. So it's not a perfect triangle, but it just has this ability where you're drawing with it and you're pulling with it. It feels like an ink pen. And it gives you these really, really rigid angles, and then you can go back and mess around with these angles. So that's why I like it. You can tell me what your favorite brush is. So the back of her hair is going to be really shadow. Very much so, because it's the back, and no light, hardly any light's going to get back there. Maybe just a small little halo of light, but not a lot of light. You can probably just go right up to the edge, right up to the edge of the ear. I'm having so much fun, I haven't even checked my time yet. But I'm pretty sure this is coming in on about 2 to 3 hours. Probably 3, closer to 3. So we'll check as soon as I'm done. This part of the hair beret, going to be in shadow. I see a hole, and I'm going to fix in a little bit. So I'm going to fix it with its actual color. I'm just going to go right straight to the edge, right there, just like that. There we go. All right, let's go to the actual color. Let's go to the reddish color. It's pure spectrum red, I think. I'm just going to fix those little holes right there. There we go. Easy as pie. All right, and now the only thing we got to add or worry about is the light, which is going to be the quickest thing to do. Boy, am I freezing. Air conditioner's kicking. I don't understand it. It's fall time here. Air is on the middle of the night, and it should be cooler. Alright, so I'm just gonna put myself in a little bit of covers here, try to get myself warmed up. Sorry if you can hear all that movement in my microphone. I'm sorry about it. There we go. Sorry about the orientation on the screen too. Sorry about that. Hopefully it doesn't mess up the video. Right, so now we're ready to put our highlights in. So I'm gonna choose my round brush to do that. I'm going to choose my round brush here and here. We're going to choose the soft brush. And now we're going to go into the layer effect for lights. And we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to swoops and do that. I'm going to select the second to the darkest shade. Excuse me. And we are just going to push the light into the area very slowly. Let's bring this brush down some to about a 5. And, just slow and steady. I'm going so fast that I'm probably going to do all of the texture smoothing in post-production. It's very late here, and normally about around this time I'm in bed, sleep. But I know I said I was going to do as much as I could with this character, so we're going to go to a state of completion on this. So do that. So do that. I just noticed I wanted to fix the light on this leg just a little bit. So that is actually black. And I probably could have saved a little bit more time if I had used the round brush to do some of this, but it wasn't in my philosophy wheel, so I didn't do it. thinking about it, I probably would have done that. All right, there we go. That's good enough. I'm going to go back to light mask, and I'm going to continue where I left off. Just going to push it in. So this is a very, what I'm doing here is very quick sketch. So I'm going to do a lot of post-production work on the skin before I submit this as a digital print. So it'll change even in the final pictures. It'll change a bit. So a little bit, not too much, just a little bit there. Do quite a bit here. I guess I imagine that Bob Ross, like, excuse me, right after he painted his pictures, he would go back and do just a tad bit of cleanup work before you saw the finished picture, you know, off camera, you know, say, oh, I got to fix that little piece right there, you know, because it's not right. And then, you know, when they showed you the picture, you would see what he painted, but you would see the, you know, small little fix that he made. You wouldn't notice it unless you had an eagle eye. You could see it, but because this is going to definitely be some post-production stuff going on here, because of course, you know, I got to put the parts in that isn't censorship. You know, I can go back and I can fix a lot of stuff. It won't take long though. But anything that I find is like, oh, it needs a little bit more of this, or I need to transform that a bit because it's not right, I can do it and it'll work. Go. So this arm is going to use a lot of light source on it. The hair is going to have a pretty good light source on it too. I used to have these teachers, they would say, don't paint with white, don't paint with white. And I never understood why they said it. Don't paint with white. And the truth is because light is actually a yellow. Yellowish color. And the other reason was because white tends to just kill the color. So they would say that, don't paint with white. But what they really should have said was, don't overuse the white, because you're going to paint with white. Just don't overuse it. So I've hit some spots. I'm going to hit some spots in the face a little bit here. You know, painting white on top of white is not going to work, so I'm not going to worry about that. I don't even think you'll be able to see it, and you won't. It just doesn't work. Even though that's not really white, it's more like a light blue. Still not going to be able to see it. And I don't want to overdo it too much here. Just enough. Just enough. Not too much. And remember, I'm going to go back and I'm going to, this color, it's going to get, the opaqueness, I'm going to take it down just a notch anyway, so. And knock this down to a 2. Let's put some real good highlights. Eyes. See, the eyes can probably use an even brighter highlight than this. But we're just going to put that in there just a little bit. So we can probably get the highlight even higher on the second round. So this will just be the first round. And then the second round, we will put higher highlight in there. Go. Let's make this completely. There we go. Just gonna edge it out a little bit. All right, now the white, the highlight is gonna really jump in the hair. So we got it small enough. So we're just gonna do the edges. See? Let's see how it jumps out really, really bright. So we're not gonna do too much. Matter of fact, step all this back. Let's just use a hard brush for the hair, because hair are thin fibers. So we want to represent that as best as we can. We don't want to, we don't want them to be blurred or blurred out, because that's not what hair looks like. Hair is the shiniest part because it's a thin fiber. And it's a hard, wiry, thin fiber. Very unique. Hair does not die. It grows even when we are gone. It will continue to grow. So it's almost like it's a symbiote to us. It's not an actual part of us. It's so weird. Because it will grow long after we're gone. So will your fingernails, which I want to say the growing consensus is that your fingernails is just hair that has been hardened to create fingernails. Your fingernails also grow long after you're gone. Okay, so you see how bright that is? It's just jumping off. It's gonna all get muted down later. The final push. Don't have to overdo it, just a little bit, just enough, just enough. I'm gonna put a little bit here, a little bit there. Thicken that one up a little bit. There we go. Okay. And do some in the back here. You can do it just a little bit thicker because the back of the head is going to reflect, the back of the hair is going to reflect the light a lot because it's basically inside of that light source. That light source is cone, so it's gonna reflect. So that means we could probably even push it just a little bit on the top here too, a bit more. And then of course, just a hair beret. And as you can see, like, you know, the different color affects the type of light. You know, the bright, you know, if this was a yellow light, that would be probably orangish and probably stand out a little bit more than it does there. The most intense light's going to be in the front here, so we're going to push this just a little bit more. Because we do want it to feel like that light is affecting the hair a lot towards the front. We go. All right. Look at that, look at that. It looks so good, so good, my friends. All right. Now, we're just going to unlock these layers and we're going to affect the thing. So we're going to go to 85%. Unlock this one. Go to 85%. There we go. And we'll take a good look at it. We're going to do one more layer of light, just one more. Highlights. We're going to go up one more. call it a night after that. I'm going to put everything back and I'm going to call it a night. Just remember that this one, you don't have to overdo it too much. Every pixel counts. Every pixel counts. Probably should have started with the hair, but you know, I like to jump around, so. I think that's good enough. Okay, let's step it up one more time with the hair spray. There we go, yep, very spectacular. All right, now we're gonna do the skin, and we have to switch our brush to the round brush. And just spin the little areas here. Just put a little bit more light. Not a lot. Just a couple of dots, not a lot. Okay, and so now we're getting to the part where we can kind of put the light source in the eye. And that didn't work at all. And I know why it didn't. I'm going to have to directly paint the light source onto that eye. Could just leave it completely black like that, you know, just have that black, like, dark feeling. Be kind of cool. There we go. Not too much. So good. Yes, 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 yes. Love it when I get my light sources and my shadow sources to agree. It's always has that good feeling. Not too shabby. Oops, sorry about that. Too much. Alright, let's go over here. A little bit light there. A light here. Oh. See that light? It just makes it jump. Probably go back later and put a little bit on the hand. Very nice. So, right. It's pretty good. Let's step the shade down just a little bit and put just a little bit on the fingers here. You need a lot. So I run a little naughty group on Facebook, and I've been trying to get my Facebook peeps that like to post to it to clean up their posting just a little bit, because Facebook has started to turn on the switch for catching people and hopefully those people will get the hint when they got their first post taken down that Facebook no longer allows such content, and they will censor the content. So I have already asked them to do this. You know, I like freedom too, but sometimes when you don't run the network, you don't get the freedom to say what gets posted on the network. And then, you know, George Carlin taught us this many years ago. And a couple of other guys. So hopefully they understand that. Okay, so it feels like I'm done. I got into a state of completion, so I'm going to put all of the clothes back on. Take a look at it. Looks pretty cool. She looks almost like a ninja. It's very cool. I didn't think she'd come out this way. I'm going to change the background color to black. There we go. Makes her pop out real good. Real nice. You can see all the detail. There's a little bit of stuff I can fix, I need to fix, but she looks really good, gotta say. So I'm going to thank everybody for joining me. Let's take this pencil back off for a second. I'm going to give the TTFN you're going to see what the time is on the stream. A little over 3 hours is good. And to anybody who joined the stream live, thank you for watching. And to anybody who sees this stream in video on demand, thank you for watching the stream if you watch it in its entirety. And when this artwork is completely done, I will post it out to my social media and websites.